I was thinking like, okay, now she looks very different kind of a person, like a
Mm,
modern, yes, more
mm,
modern, yes.
Yeah.
yes, yes. We are magically live. We are magically
Yes.
live.
Yes. Hello and welcome everyone. We are here and we have actually more today, all caps more because Cher is with us. So we are
Yes.
not just
Which
me and
share?
Sil today.
Which share is with us?
Yes,
Share
unbound.
who?
Unbound.
Cher
Unbound. Say
unbound.
unbound. We were having
Yes.
fun with the name pronunciation. Anyway,
Yes.
keep going.
Yes.
Keep going.
So we can expect really something more than usual because it always adds up. It's
Yes.
always whenever someone joined, and of course, yesterday she was here, and it was amazing. I got
Of
so much
course. Yeah.
inspiration, and of course, it's
Yeah.
always very comforting in her company for me. I
Yes.
always feel very comfort. Whenever
Yes.
she's around, I feel comfort. Like, okay, I don't know why, but this is the feeling I have. So
Thank you.
Beena.
and I feel yes,
Well,
yes,
sorry to interrupt you, but I don't want to
no
forget.
problem.
And as a focus, because Sher came and this was on Sher's mind, and we were talking about it as we came. Would you please go to group and click on your post that you just made,
Yes.
and then share screen, and then Sher, please, would you read it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Just okay.
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I want to say beforehand, we are reading this and pay attention from a non-astrological point of view because this is how this column is written. Yes, it's astrologically related, but it is connecting to moreness via
Hmm.
astrology. It's very important, right?
Hmm.
So don't say just because, okay, it's new moon in Cancer, doesn't matter.
Mm-mm.
Extract the value. Do what a new noble would do. They would look at it and extract the value. Regardless of whether things are true or not, they will extract value. Right, sir?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's I think it's one of the most profound ones that she's written so far.
Yeah,
So,
Wow,
yeah.
wow,
I
wow.
agree. I agree.
Confident.
It's. I was saying the same thing. You know, we
Yes,
were going over it, and when Beena was yesterday, and before Beena went to
yes.
bed, but I was very tired at the time too, even though it's 12 hours difference. But I said to Beena, it's like, man, I really thought this was really good. And she said, "Yeah, well, maybe we were just tired, so we went over it today." I said, no, no, no.
I was trying.
It's wonderful. It's
it
wonderful.
is that
Yes,
good.
okay.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah. So we're gonna read it, and sure you read, and then we'll do a capital R reading on it. As you go
Okay.
through, things come up, you share, you jump in, Beena jumps in, I'll
Uh-huh.
jump in. But in the meantime, let me just finish doing all the things that I
Yeah,
need to
is
do
it
on this.
readable for you?
Yes, yes, it looks really
Okay,
good.
okay.
Looks really good. I like that. Okay, so Sil, if you're ready, Dina.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
New
yes.
moon in Cancer, 17/7/23. The time of year has arrived when our hearts feel like migrating birds, longing for home and start flying back, leaving behind everything which was not theirs, taking flight, though they are aware that it will take every bit of effort. It will be a nonstop quest. It will test the very core of their strength. They leave knowing that the lakes and forests are here, generous and kind hosts. But home is calling back, and we cannot say anything but yes. Nothing can muddle that comforting, protecting smell of home. Lush greens, blue waters, abundant lakes. Nothing can be more inviting than home. Home is not a constructed pile of blocks. It is our emotional foundation, our core, where our heart
Yes.
is, where we feel most comfortable and where we can be and feel who we really are. This is what home is. Nostalgia and dreaming will be the inaugural beat of this new moon in Cancer. Our senses can help us connect with some precious but forgotten memories. We can catch some insights too. Observe yourself as you observed your first crush. Any texture, aroma, sound, color, or anything that you feel, that you can feel with your senses, can be a key to unlocking the floodgates of self-awareness. This new moon is coming with a lot of opportunities. It can be uncomfortably overwhelming. The energy of this new moon in Cancer, with strong aspects of Pluto, can extrude the last bits of stagnation from our subconscious and consciousness. Emotional purging with the purpose to heal our emotional being. Before setting your intents for this initiative, new moon energy, embrace this moment and set those prisoned memories free. Let them come on the surface so they can breathe in the fresh air. Call them to come to you. They might bring that younger self who was naive, innocent, and unaware, or might bring that super ambitious, newly mature self who knows nothing but flight to succeed, or that tired self with no light in the heart. Whoever comes, let them come close so you can assure that they are still loved and respected by you. Maybe those memories will bring something more than this life. Welcome everyone and everything with respect, because they all are invited to be part of the ceremony. A ceremony of the communion of all aspects of yourself. Allow all of you to celebrate. Don't feel shy to change your desires. We all had different ideas of our life and self in the past. Now we are different, and we have changed. How can we still connect with those ideas which are not relevant anymore? The universe has been giving us some glimpses, symbols, and visions of who we really are since 2009. Some of us followed, but most of us were just getting puzzled and confused at why things are not working the way we were intending them to. Those are all subtle and sometimes a bit harsh reminders for us to reconsider our choices. And now, this is the last significant aspect to push us toward true home. I heard someone use an analogy for this new moon, and I love it, and decided to make it the mantra for this new moon. Mantra. If I want to enjoy a gourmet 5-course meal, why am I standing in line at the dollar store? This column is about more, and more goes beyond astrology. We are using astrology and other mediums as leverage to enhance and build awareness. Our intent is to use any perspective, belief system, whether we believe in it or not, to acquire value and usefulness to improve our emotional, mental well-being and life in general. One can completely disregard astrology or be an absolute believer. It doesn't make any difference at all. We can still get value and usefulness. Our focus and clear intent is to use anything to create and extract moreness and value. So please read these columns as an open sharing and read with an open mind and heart.
And what?
Open
And what?
mind and heart.
Oh, open mind and heart. Yes. Be it. Be it.
Beautiful reading, beautiful reading. Sher. I was enjoying this writing like I was hearing it first time, exactly like that. So that was so beautiful.
That's why I got on here. First thing I said was, this was amazing.
It's art. It's art.
Really hit deeply this time. I don't know what the difference is. Doesn't matter. I just think it's filled with moreness.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
that is why I am not able to write moon text beforehand, because I need to feel that energy.
Mm,
Otherwise, no matter how much I try, I cannot write. And this,
wow.
when you read that, if you are feeling that, because Cancer moon, moon is especially about the mother, the home, the subconscious, and then
Mm.
especially Cancer is about home, and of course it connected to, it's a moon sign. So it's all about those emotions, those subconscious mind, those memories and all these things. So if you cannot feel that, there is no purpose to actually write these things. So that is something I'm really thankful to Sil. He really pushed me to do this. Like, okay, do this, do this. It
Oh,
is
my
valuable. And I'm
pleasure,
like,
Beena.
okay, what's the point to write these?
But
But
there's something about those memories, though. I mean, that being called
yes,
home. Sometimes we can't go home. However, what I discovered recently is that
Wow.
we don't have to carry a negative memory of our home. Like myself, I
yes,
finally have
yes,
arrived
Exactly.
to the point where I found the value of even the most negative aspects of my childhood, my teenage years, my
yes,
young adult life. I found value where value was necessary to find, where the gifts were.
yes.
And when I did that, I was able to stop resenting and hating the girl that I used to be and find love for her. That was a big shift for
That's
me.
it
So when I
will
read this today, I was like, wow, that's what it was. It was going home and finding that home in yourself.
exactly,
Yes. Yes.
So home
exactly.
isn't a
This is,
place. Yeah,
it's
to me, home's
now
not a place. It's
it's
here.
more than worth writing, when you say that. And if you feel something like this,
Mhm.
it is just
Exactly.
way more than worth writing it, because now you give me something to, of course it's a back and forth energy exchange right now, because
Mhm.
Right.
I write this, and now you are coming,
Right.
you share
Right.
this, it is coming back to me, and I'm getting more
Right.
value out of it.
Right. Please
This is,
look.
yes,
So say, please look in comments. Carry on. Carry on. Carry on.
okay. So this thing is about having having a home.
Oh, oh, oh.
Almost almost all the children, if you ask them, no matter which category of the society they belong,
No.
they were orphans, or they had parents, they had family or not, anything. You can go as diverse as you can. But if
Mhm.
No.
you will just go really close, you will find the sadness that something was missing. One of my friend, who was an amazingly intelligent person, who's been hired by intelligence agencies, but just because of his intelligence and all that. And he was super ambitious, and of course, very successful person also. But when we were, there was a moment, and when we were just like, he shared with me that,
Mm.
Beena, I was in Dubai when I was 4.5, and there was a shop close to our house there, and in that shop, just above the main door, there was a shelf, and in that shelf, in the right corner, there was a remote controlled helicopter. And I said, okay. And he says, I desperately want that. And I said, okay, but I never get a chance to get it. That helicopter was a drive always in my life to achieve things.
No.
But I never get the chance to get that specific helicopter again in my life. I never saw that again. And I'm still searching. So
No.
no matter what, everybody has their own story, and especially from the childhood, because it's a very different kind of analogy, but I'm using. We start getting cooked when we get birth, just after that moment. We came like really raw, like you can see that in the physical existence of the baby, that really everything is pretty raw, untouched. But as we grow, of course, we start getting cooked by this whole harshness, the heat of the surrounding, and it makes us not what we were before. That loss is the ultimate sadness for every child, no matter how beautiful childhood they had. but it's still that loss of that beauty, that pureness, that rawness, and that of getting exposed to the hearts of this world, like going through a one. It is ultimate sadness. No one is, at least in my experience, I never met anyone who is completely free of the sadness. There is always something,
Right.
always something.
Yeah.
We all have some shattered dreams. We all have some unfulfilled desires. We all have some not so ideal situation in our childhood, because we came from like a very beautiful childhood environment, and then okay, so what we are actually looking at it. So
We're looking at Norma's comments.
okay, it is
So,
blur right now.
well,
So
I'll read in a second. Finish your sentence that you were saying about childhood.
so this is something I'm learning now, that yes, some people have, of course, very different world around them, and some are in more comfortable. But if you really go into your own heart and ask yourself, there's always the same level of sadness we all carry inside ourselves, and
Yes.
it never goes away, never,
Right.
never.
Agreed. It doesn't go away, but I also feel like that will be relieved, I feel, anyways,
Yes.
when we leave this particular stage of our life.
Yes.
When we are no
Exactly.
longer in this particular physical body, that's when
And
that emptiness will go away, because then we will be, I guess, just one with ourselves and with others.
It's a pressure to go into whatever with the intent to relieve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very powerful intent. Norma says on your article, for you, ... open quotation marks. When we look in the mirror, we don't see our real self. We just see the body our self is wearing. Wrote this morning. That Norma wrote that this morning, I would assume, from this, right? I write something each day, usually a poem. Yes, and you write wonderful poems, beautiful poems, heartfelt poems for general circulation. If you're interested, I can share with you, but I know you are very busy. And I will speak for Beena and say, yes, Beena, are you interested? Would you like to see this?
Absolutely interested, always.
Yeah.
You know that okay, I always try to find time to, of course, write poems, but it's very rare for me. And then if someone can do this, like this, really, this is so inspiring. I would love to, Norma, love to.
I'm not sure where she made this comment, on, it's not, because there's another comment from Sher, and that's not showing here, so I don't know. Then Norma goes on to say in a second post there, second comment, thank you, Beena, fantastic. The mantra was good advice. I read it that if something wasn't happening, why settle for less? Exactly. And the puzzling and confusion. I shouldn't be so surprised that it was talking to me, as it is my birthday month. I have only read it twice, a smile so far. You are so kind to prepare these monthly forecasts for us. Thank you, dear Beena. Thank you. Oh. Thank you, dear Norma. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Norma. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right, now I shall
totally
try and
worth writing it. Really.
Yes.
It's totally worth writing it.
Now I have to find Sher's comment.
Yes.
It's
I know where to
figured,
get it.
Like I say,
Go
I
ahead.
figured out where it went. It's on the actual post itself.
Right.
But not
We've
on
been
the one.
right on Beena's timeline rather than on the in the group one. And I think Norma responded in group and you responded on Beena's timeline. So I have to click Beena and then I'll find it.
Yeah.
So I do want to read Sher's post also. Sher's comment also. Sher says,
it's so long.
Sher says, don't feel shy to change your desires. We all had different ideas of our life and self in the past. Now we are different and we have changed. Wow, wow, wow.
Oh,
And
no,
that's
wait,
a
that's from,
quote.
yeah, that's,
Yeah,
no, but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
from,
Yeah, it's a quote. You just didn't put in the close quotation marks. Right.
Yes.
But I mean, I'm saying, wow, because you pulled it as a quote. So
Yes.
I'm not responding to the content. I'm responding to the implications of the fact that you pulled it as a quote. See, Sher?
yeah,
Different,
yeah,
different, right? So that you pulled this quote means that this is significant to you. Don't feel
it is.
shy of your changes or desires. I don't think that that is any longer so for sure, but it is still something that you deal with on a regular basis. Yes. So
Yes,
it's
it
an
is.
important
Well,
point. It's an important point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I followed that section up, or that quote up with,
Right.
with just basically a suggestion to take the risk.
Correct.
Take the risk,
Right.
take the leap,
Right.
make the change,
Yes.
because otherwise,
Right.
if we stagnate, to me, stagnation is slow death. I
Exactly.
gotta
Yeah.
keep moving. I gotta keep learning. I gotta keep going towards that point where I can ease that ache that Beena was talking about, that miss,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we miss our love of self. And to me, that's where home is.
It's
We're all
Yes.
powerful.
searching for home. And what we're searching for, I believe, is that just deep, heartfelt love. You know,
Yes.
we hook up with other people
Yes.
trying to find it and
Yes.
fill it. We're not going to find
Yes.
it. It's here. It's within us.
Exactly. You have to love yourself.
Exactly.
Right. So to
Exactly.
continue, Sher says, right? I mean, you just said what you said,
Yes.
but I'm going to read it again anyway on your comment. How
Yes.
can we still connect with those ideas which are not relevant anymore? That is a very, 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 very powerful point. And in our
Yes.
story, see, I always got to connect things to story. Isn't this exactly what Ursula refused to do? She says,
Yep.
I can't, it's not relevant. I can't go back to the old home. It's not
That's
relevant.
right.
And she said, well, that means I have to be here. If I'm going to be here, I can't behave according to the old ideas. I have to let them go. I have to start fresh. They're not relevant. I can't behave. Now let's look at the converse. How can we still connect with those ideas which are not relevant anymore? Camillus.
Yep.
He is trying to do this, but he doesn't realize that what was his entire life is how he defines himself no longer relevant. He doesn't make the connection, and then he's starting to have trouble. The
Right.
universe has been giving us some glimpses, symbols,
Mhm.
and visions of who we really are since 2009. Again, this is a quote, right? Some of us followed, but most of us were just getting puzzled and confused at why things are not working the way we were intending them to. Yes, another quote. Oh, there's the end quotation. The whole thing is a quote. All right. Oh my, take the leap, says Sher. The only risk is what happens if we don't leap. Exactly. If we don't leap, we never grow wings on the way down.
Right.
Yes.
Stagnation was not an option for me, says Sher, as it is the equivalent of slow death. Absolutely. To realize
Wow.
this,
Wow.
is so key. Now, when we look at Camillus, subconsciously, he's going to realize that if he doesn't update, what was before was not stagnation, but will now be. And that's what Ursula, to her great credit, does realize. If she goes back, she says it. She says it will be stasis. It wasn't before, but it will be now. It will be stagnation now.
Yeah.
I have so much to say on this topic of stepping into the evolution of this new moon. Love this, Miss Beena Sid. Thank you for sharing your insights and understandings. Yeah, yeah,
What a beautiful
wow,
takeaway, Sher. And then you just
yeah,
actually, this is that intensity. This is what we need when it comes to stagnation. And you say that it's a slow death. This is the intensity we need to have this, because our mind are so attuned with the comparative comparison. So when we have something like, okay, this is, if we will choose that, it's a slow death, we need that. We need this
Mhm.
reminder, We need this analogy right there. Otherwise, comfort is something, it's a natural state of human being. This is what me and Sylvie were discussing, that human beings are literally, because the first awareness of a human mind is in the womb, just floating, comforted, no disturbance at all, getting nurtured by mother automatically. This is where we all want to be instinctually. This is the state we want to. Everything else is an effort. It's a hard work. I don't want to. That type of thing. So the laziness is very natural to human being, actually. So that's why whatever requires more effort, we don't want to do that unless we get this type of reminder there, that if you choose this stagnation, it's going to be a slow death. Beautiful.
We're gonna get, I was gonna say, there's so many, I don't know, there's nothing but benefits stepping away from, that slow death of stagnation. There's just nothing but benefit. How could you not?
Exactly.
Anything's got to be
Exactly.
better than doing
How
nothing.
could you not? But as rhetorical as that question is, how can you not? Sadly, unfortunately, it does happen that some do not. It does happen. And this is what I really am keen to explore, and why I so love this, how this has come up now, because it is the theme of our repeat back, our takeaway, our capital R reading is what I mean to say, right? This is what we are looking at, this exact difference here, how some do not and how some do. Ursula did, Camillus does not. Why? Why is there this difference? And not only why does Ursula do it, I mean, she spells it out, but what in her psychology enabled her to do that? This is what we want to learn. What in Camillus' psychology is preventing him? Because you said, but I was just like, you might as well be echoing Ursula. It's just like, but like, how can I not? It's like a duh, I mean, it's like if there's a cliff or a fire and, it wants to burn, you move away from it. It's like just sort of like so incomprehensibly duh. Yet it doesn't happen. People get burnt by fire all the time and die in fires when they can get out, like in house fires, right? I mean, they panic and then do all sorts of things, right? And they don't want to do like you're in the room, it's burning all around you, but where you are in that moment is not burning. So now you say, well, to get out, I have to jump through a burning window or run through a burning door. Yeah. And your body says, I'm going to get burned. I'm going to get burned. And it refuses to do this because, well, it's an awful truth. Yes, but it can't think one step further. If you don't put up with a little bit of burning, you're going to burn to death later. It cannot. Some brains just refuse to go to step 2 thinking because all their lives, they never, ever, ever, ever did this. They didn't do that one extra thought. And therefore, they run around in that little circle inside the middle of the floor there, in the middle of the room, right? In a panic, they go round and round and round, where do I go, wherever. But I'm safe now, I'm safe now, I'm safe now, until, of course, it's too late, they catch fire and die. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's incredibly horrible, but we want to pay attention to why it happens. It's because there's not the ability to overcome the step 1, which is an awful truth, to get to the step 2, which is where you want to be, or step 3 or step 4. Right? And you can just watch in people around you, especially in politics, just watch in religion, just watch how they don't go to step 2 thinking. Never mind step 3, 4, X, N, no, doesn't matter. Just step 2. Don't go there. They don't go there. They don't go there. It's incredible. It's incredible. So it's a very powerful thing. You are making that effort to go to step 2 thinking, Sher, and beyond. And it changes everything. Now suddenly the world becomes a duh. Yeah.
It does.
A lot of things become a duh. Yeah.
Yeah. But I am very aware, though, of what you were saying, that there are people, and even some in my life, who they look at it, they even know, they're even aware that there's another step to take, that, that they can do something to help themselves, but they don't.
Right.
So I don't know if it comes down to will or, lack of will, motivation, what it comes to, lack of belief. I don't know. I've never found the answer to that.
Right. Refusal to face and deal with the awful truth.
Awful truth.
That's
Yeah.
that's it. Awful truth avoidance. That's why, I mean, same with Camillus. He has to acknowledge an awful truth, that something which in his intellectual brilliance, which he is. I mean, you see some of his comments are ridiculously profound, right? We've had a
Yeah.
whole bunch of them, not just a smattering here and there, like, oh, you got lucky on this thing. No, I mean, he's showing real deep discernment and insight. And yet, on the pinnacle of his life, for Camillus, it's all about understanding, says Camillus about himself. Not in the first person, which you can still understand, you in a bubble, but as third person, externally viewing himself.
Mhm.
But he doesn't realize that this end point, which should be something that's thought through all the way, is not. It's an awful truth to realize for Camillus. For all his brilliance, he's also blind. He's also didn't go far enough. He didn't see the moreness. And this is, he doesn't want to acknowledge that because it's going to invalidate his previous life in his thinking. It doesn't, of course. Ursula's life is not invalidated. And she's at least smart enough to realize that. She just says, there's more. She looks at it from without the superiority paradigm, but Camillus is looking. Superiority paradigm, comparison, comparison, comparison. If this is good and it's more, then that past is less. Immediate comparison. He doesn't want to acknowledge the less he's already acknowledged the more, but now he doesn't want to acknowledge the less. He doesn't want to confirm that. So he gets stuck. All he has to do is simply say, it's more now. What it was. That's then. That was then,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, I was less as a baby. I pooped in my pants and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, you know, I can't get stuck thinking that I'm there. It's idiotic, right? Now, why do we do it to the rest of our lives? Yeah, it's foolishness. But it's an ego thing, essentially, right? And he's stuck in ego. But he doesn't want to face the awful truth, too. Right?
Now, I recall from yesterday, you were talking about how today we were going to be talking about love.
Oh,
And
Yes.
I think it's really
yes.
kind of interesting that this topic that what Beena had mentioned about going home, and then my tying into going home to self-love. And our
Yes.
topic today is about love. So this ought to be really
All right,
fascinating today.
brilliant.
Yes.
Yes, brilliant. Do me a favor, both Sher and Beena, will you just make any kind of comment under the live so that I can see that the comments are working?
Okay.
I was gonna say, I'll see if I can get in there. Beena probably already has hers open.
I need to go. I was doing some other work, so I need to not so, but no so, but I'm going to.
We are on a mission to avoid saying so.
Are we? Okay.
No sows. Yeah, sowing is for seeds or for
clothes.
seamstresses. Yes, yeah. All right, so I made a comment there. I want to see if yours come through. On love. See, I didn't say the forbidden word. I said on love instead of saying something on love. I just said on love. I don't need to say that word. It's a crutch, unnecessary crutch. Therefore, can be replaced, that crutch, or thus, or let's hear, or let's see. Yeah. All right, maybe even. Love. The reason I wanted to speak to love, and I was hoping Norma would be here because it's a big topic. And I want to speak, I'll just start by saying, how do the new nobility love? First of all, they love without comparison. This is crucial to understand. This is absolutely crucial to understand. Let's go to the flowers behind here. Right? You walk along with Biela or any other new noble, and they look at this flower here and say, oh, I love this flower. And then they look at this one and say, oh, I love this flower. And they look at that one, they love this flower. And they look at this one over here, right? And say, oh, I love this bush. Okay, it doesn't have any flowers on it. And you're like, but you love them all. And they're like, oh, well, yes. Like, how do you not love them all? By implication, right? And they carry on. Oh, I love this one. Yeah, I love it. No comparison. There's no comparison. Now tell me if any of these flowers, bushes, plants, trees, grass, whatever, tell me which one is not lovable and worthy of loving. Please point it out to me. Tell me which one's not worthy of being loved. Which one? Which one?
I don't know. I can't see exactly what they are.
And in the background behind me, I'm looking in the background. Just go the background behind me.
I'm clicking on it. I don't know. I couldn't see.
The point I'm trying to make is that there isn't one not to love.
I know.
Right.
I'm messing with you.
Yeah. All right. Well, very successfully. My brain is like really seriously. You know, well done. Very good. So this though is so foreign and contrary to the superiority paradigm, which looks at everything and immediately ranks it. Right?
Yes.
This one, yeah, is the nicest. This is the second nicest, third, and this is the least nicest. And they don't even go.
We compare and rank ourselves.
Right, exactly. But they don't even go from least nice to most nice. They go from bad to good. Ah, man. So in the ranking, there's always something that's bad and then good and then kind of neutral in the middle. It's like, come on, you know, when I was a child, I said, no, I'm changing my system to a good, better, best system. But then as the Nobility come along, they just say it's all good, end of story. And how is it not all good? If you really understand the universe, you see that everything has its value, everything has its purpose.
Right.
In the worst thing even is good for something. This comes from pre-nobility times, from as a very young man, right? I figured out that the worst thing is a good bad example.
The worst thing is a good bad example.
Yeah. All right. So if I say I need a bad example, and you say, oh, here we go. Yes, the worst thing. This is going to be an excellent bad example for you.
Okay.
Right? Isn't that a good bad example?
Worst thing.
I mean a good right. So if I want a bad example, all right. So I want an example of a bad person. So well, Hitler. He's good for something. He's good as an example of a bad person. See?
Okay.
So he serves a value. He serves a
words.
function. Right. That's what I'm saying. So everything is good for something. Even if it's not good in its inherent self, it is good in the inverse, in the adverse, to be more
yeah, and that's
precise.
kind of hard to wrap your mind around, though, because especially when you think of things like roaches. No.
Well, again, we might not. This is the magic of awareness. Sometimes the universe is saying, be really, really, really discerning and figure out why roaches are there for whatever reason, what purpose, what value do they serve, how do they fit, what ecological niche do they serve, how did they come to be? Yes. So again, you know, if there's free food, free energy, something's going to feed on it. Well, now you think the universe had said, you know what, there are a lot of lazy people in the world and they don't clean their houses and they get diseases and they don't know why. Well, let's make some roaches which they don't like and scare them and you. And well, now, okay, the roaches, they get associated with a dirty ass, so you clean your ass. There you go. Life is easy.
Yeah.
See? Good reason for roaches. Good reason for roaches.
Also because of that, as we were discussing, that in the basic state of mind, humans are more into comparative mindset. So they need something to compare with, like, okay, this is what I need and this is what I don't want. Few things are just serving this purpose for the comparison, that okay, yes, okay, this is what we don't want, okay, and this is what I want. So still universe is taking care of few things, and we learn from that. No matter how primitive it sounds like, but we do learn from this comparison. By comparing two things, we learn.
Yeah. I mean, one of the first points of discernment, understandings, you know, first principles of discernment is don't be excessive. Don't be absolute. And when we say, you know, comparisons aren't useful, that's an absolute. They can be. Learn to use them appropriately. That's why appropriateness is our core. Learn to use it appropriately. Right? Comparisons can be valuable, but don't lose sight of the fact that, if you're comparing height and you're a blade of grass over here, you say, "Oh, I'm the tallest blade of grass." Here it is, right? I'm looking at this thing of Nobelia here. Let me screen share. Right? This blade of grass somewhere, we say, "Oh, look at me, I'm the tallest," and it's looking around, but it's only comparing to the other blades of grass. It's not the tallest living thing over there compared to the trees. It's nothing. See, so we have to understand that. Yes, and it might say, "Well, I'm not a tree, I'm grass, and yes, I'm strong and fit and healthy." All right, good for you. Yeah. So there's some value in it in that sense, but also you have to be relative, right? If you're just saying, "Well, I'm the tallest ever and this is where you get your status from," well, look at the trees, then you're nothing. And this happens all the time. So contextual perception and appropriateness in comparison is absolutely critical. And comparison forces this eventually, because at some point in time, that blade of grass is going to realize, "Well, I made a fool of myself by being all, superior about being the tallest. I'm not the tallest," right? So then it says, "Oh, now I have to learn contextual comparison." So it forces it to do that. Also,
coming back to love.
yeah, one quick point.
Yeah.
I will. One quick point, Beena, on
Yes.
the roaches.
Yes.
Let's
Okay.
abstract that. Roaches
Right.
feed on what? They feed on throwaway energy. Little bits of food, organic material, which has fallen in your house, right? Right. That's energy. Any little tiny crumb is actually energy in the abstract, is it not?
I
Yes.
guess.
Organic
And
material is energy for something. Yes. Yeah. My point is, the universe is saying, be exquisite with your own energy, because everything feeds off energy in some way. Free energy, something's going to feed off of it. If you're going to go around being messy with your energy, in other words, living in a messy house, you are going to have psychological roaches coming and feeding off that energy.
Okay. What if you, I'm having a hard time,
All right.
connecting to that,
All right.
because
Think
I
about
keep an impeccably clean house and we still get them.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the
it-
purpose for
it-
roaches.
but that's not because of your house. That's because the neighbors don't do it. And this is a
Well,
problem
yeah.
restaurants have. In
Yeah.
restaurants, no matter how clean your restaurant is, the roaches are all around you, and they're simply going to come and explore your place,
Oh,
because there are none there, and they go where there isn't anything, because they want new territory, because they're fighting and competing in outside your place with everybody
yeah.
else for the food. In your place, they don't know there's nothing, so they come and see, investigate. So that's why you see roaches in a clean place. Yes.
I feel like they're
And
aliens.
yeah,
And also
right.
they don't look for food to eat. They eat anything and
Yeah, they
everything.
do.
Yeah.
So it's not
And
about it has to
Right.
be dirty
But
to
I
have roaches around.
yeah.
It's not. Even just like
Right.
some rusty metals or some old leather
Yeah.
or some old books, they just thrive on everything.
yeah,
Right.
they do.
Well,
Including
That's
each
like
other.
our problem.
They're
right.
quite
So
cannibalistic.
yeah, I'm making
Yes.
the point, though, that when it comes to our psychological, psychic, spiritual energy, we have to be very tight and also be preemptive and, maintain it and do all the same things to make sure that we don't have roaches. Now, we think of people who are very loose with their emotions, right? Who are scattered kind of, and they're just always throwing out some emotion. They're very not in control of the emotion. I don't mean they're like excessively weepy or anything like that. They're just not very together. Those people invite others to come and essentially feed off of them.
Hmm.
You see it all the time. The others that moan about them, that complain about them, that will mock them, tease them, whatever, right? Bully them, dominate them in some way or another. They open the door for others to feed off that energy.
Oh,
Yes, oh.
yeah.
Yes, oh. Right? We don't think of it in that sense, but see, to me, the universe is giving you these examples to make you think differently about stuff. We don't realize that we can feed others, and those others are, let's say I'm always complaining and somebody complains about me complaining or bullies me for complaining. For them, this is a feeding. They get a pay. There's a payoff for them. They feel superior by complaining about you, or you trying to feel superior in the first place. It's all part of the same game, feeding off energy. Yeah. So we have to be very, very, very alert to what feeds on what. Yes. There are psychological, spiritual roaches out there. And like you said, keeping your place clean alone is not enough. You need to be in the right environment.
Yeah, I know.
Right? You can't clean up the entire neighborhood. But
That's
you
true.
can
That's
by
true.
moving. It's as simple
I
as
know.
that.
I know.
Right. So you
I
see, it all
know.
makes sense. It all makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
thank you, roaches. Thank you, roaches.
It's not about
What a
cleaning your
gift.
house.
What a gift. What a
Definitely.
gift. Now,
Yes.
on love, how do we not love the universe when we understand that Sher's, this capital G gift that is there for Sher via the roaches? I gotta love it. Roaches included. It's incredible. It's incredible. Just the
But
magic of it.
better start with, I guess, that okay, what love is.
Yeah. So to
Because
me, love is
I
just a
personally,
willingly chosen relationship.
okay.
Willingly chosen, first of all. And when you understand this, it's a relationship that you choose. It's a connectivity. It's an interaction where you are assigning or ascribing the most positive possible way that you can feel about something to something, right? You're saying, I'm going to feel this way about this thing. I'm loving it, right? That's love. Now, you might not think that you're doing this willingly and consciously, but it is, right? You may fall in love and it happens automatically, but that goes because of all your likes and predilections and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you think you should and all that. But if you get a little bit more aware and you're not so much in should anymore, then every time you're going to love something, you're going to know that this is a choice. Right? And why would we not make this choice?
Interesting.
Why
What is
would
love for
I
you, Sher?
not love something? It makes no
Yes.
sense whatsoever. From the new nobility point of view, they say there is no reason for it. That's why we love everything. It's as simple as that. To have the most beneficial, attitudinal, emotional, psychological, spiritual relationship with everything, how is this not optimizing up to kazoo? It is.
Okay, so, but I mean, I can appreciate what you're saying. I
Right.
just, for me anyways, just reaching out of that, I see it as an unconditional, it's an awareness for me anyways. I see it as an awareness, an
Exactly.
unconditional acceptance. But I mean, I can accept something and I can accept that something, is alive, something exists or something did exist, and I can have an appreciation for it. But to me, there's probably different levels. For me, there is different levels, different degrees, not levels, different degrees or depths of love, which would be the ultimate would be love. The bottom would be acceptance.
Right. It's all about choice. It's all about choice.
Well,
It's all about how much energy we're willing to invest in it. And it's also, love is the ultimate perspective shifting.
How so?
Well, I love the roses, but I don't love the thorns.
Well, isn't that acceptance? I mean, it's like,
yeah, but I'm purposely shifting the perspective to the part of the rose that gives me joy and kind of ignoring the thorns. Or I say, well, it's part of the beauty. They protect the rose. It adds to the romance, etc. Right? So love, especially when you romanticize things, it is finding those perspectives which enable you to have a positive, good, loving perspective easily. Right? Because everything you can find fault with, anything you can find good in. So it's that perspective shifting that enables us to get to that point of love. So right, to me, love is perspective shifting without realizing it. Well, think about people that you love. Yes. I mean, somebody else doesn't love them. Different perspectives.
Yeah, well, it goes back to choice then.
Right.
You
I
know,
mean,
that's where it
I
comes
can pull
down
up a
to.
list of bad qualities of Sher and Beena. It wouldn't make me very popular, but I could do it, and it would
Well,
be
I
an
would probably
accurate
have to
list.
say bye-bye.
Right, right. Well, but I'm just saying though. But I mean, I could do it without trying to be nasty, just to be honest. I
Yeah.
could do it about myself. Now, if I made that list about myself, do I stop loving myself any less? No, I can't.
No.
I have to love myself despite those negative qualities. And that's the point of perspective shifting. See, perspective shifting says, I'm going to shift perspective to not ignore the negative, but to emphasize the positive and to see the negative in appropriate relational context. Yes? Appropriate relativity. Yeah, sure, there's a bunch of negative things, but compared to the positive, they're trivial. Yeah. I can find negative qualities about grass too, if you want, you know.
Well, I mean, we can find a negative and a positive about everything. There's always two sides to everything.
That's why I'm saying love, in other words, is really like ultimate perspective shifting. I am finding the perspective that gives me the most value. That's love. And from an emotional point of view. Emotional, psychological, spiritual.
Yeah.
I get value when I love something. I love the grass. It gives me joy. The value lies in the joy. The value lies in loving it. Right?
I guess I'm struggling with perspective shifting where because now it just feels clinical. To me, love is not clinical. So that description
I know, but that's just, I
feels
know people don't want
clinical.
it to
So I was
be.
like,
I hear you. I hear you. It is a clinical perspective on love, but hey, we can't let that. It says, so what? You know, that's what
Yeah.
that now we are taking. Let's do it the other way, and instead of making love clinical, let's make perspective shifting loving. Let's reverse the
Okay, we could do
process. See
that.
what I mean? Let's
We could do
upgrade
that.
perspective shifting rather than downgrading love.
Yeah. We could do that.
Is perspective shifting not, when we use it appropriately, is it not an ultimate act of loving the world? To me, it is. It's a fantastic mechanism for loving the world.
Yeah.
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 I love it. So now we just reverse the process. Right?
Yeah.
So again, we just perspective shifted on perspective shifting and love. We just
Yeah.
reversed it. We shifted perspectives. Why it's so powerful. It is such a powerful technique.
I want to hear what Beena has to say on this.
Yeah, let's hear Beena. Where you, Norma? Where you, Norma? I miss you, Norma. I was keen for Norma to be here for this, but I don't know where she is. And where do you go, Beena? You're muted. That's where you are. Let's ask to unmute. Ask to unmute. Ask to unmute. 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 Beena. Unmute. I'm clicking. I don't know what it does on her side.
Yes. It just give me a banner on this screen that okay, post one to unmute.
Good.
Okay.
But it didn't keep flashing the banner when every time I click it didn't do it new.
No, it just stays there anyway. This is very interesting, and I understand what Sher is saying, that it's too clinical. But this is again, it's a very good example right here for us to understand that love is not something stagnant. It varies, of course.
Yeah.
So for Sil, it's a completely different thing. It's a perspective shifting. This is what love is for him. Personally, I feel that we need to have some clarity about love. Romance has nothing to do with love. It's a completely different thing. This is what mostly the idea is, that okay, it has to be the romantic, all roses and all that. No, this is not what romance is. And by romance, I'm not saying that okay, just in personal relationship with your spouse or like whoever, even with your parents, with your children, with your siblings or friends or whatever. The idea of romance is completely different, and love is completely different. Again, sometimes we just see things which might seem like on surface, visually, not so pleasant, but those gestures, those things has been done out of love, like protecting you from someone, even if you have to fight for that, take all the blames. This is also love. But for me, the idea that the love is the most selfish feeling ever. It's all about me.
Yes.
If I want to feel, if I feel love for someone, it's all about me. I want to stay in that feeling.
Mm.
It's not about that person. I want to
Yes.
keep this feeling intact. It's a very
Yes.
selfish business when it comes to love.
Oh.
It's all about me, how it makes me feel. What happens if my idea gets disrupted by any means? Then it's not love. It's not
Yes.
expectation, but it starts from me and it ends on me also, because it's a feeling. And when we feel love for anything or anyone, for me, again, this is just my personal perspective, it provides us that wholesome feeling. When we feel love, true love, we feel our maximum. We feel our fullest.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
That's
the
why
ultimate
we want to
perspective.
stay. That's why we want to stay in that feeling. That's why loss of love is really devastating for us. It's not just a shattering of expectation which really breaks us. It's the feeling we want to stay, because when we are in love, I'm not saying in any romantic way, but when we feel love, we actually operate or vibrate from our fullest, from our maximum. And no one can match this feeling. That's why love, we want to stay in love. That's why any potential threat which is going to disrupt our idea of love, we really fight it.
Oh.
That's why I say that, okay, it's a very selfish business. For me, if I love something or someone, this is my feeling. It's personally 100% my own thing. And I want to keep this feeling intact. We feel our wholesome in those moments when we truly love something or someone, or we just experience love. Let's put it that way. No human can get out of that feeling. If you just remember that, but not the romance, but when you really feel love at some point, that will remind you that nothing was bothering you. No threat, no negative thought, nothing. You feel like the whole universe is just under your feet, because we feel at our maximum. When we feel love, we really touch the peak of our being, the height of our being. That's why everybody loves love. For me, this is my perspective again.
Yes.
And that is why it has nothing to do with anyone or anything. It's all about me. It's my choice. What mostly people is just mix up things with the respect. I do respect, like the Sil was using the analogy of roses and thorns. I respect all the aspect of rose. But love is something different. So for me, it's different. It has nothing to do with romance. It has nothing to do with the respect. The love is the feeling I get from something or someone. It's a very mean business.
And that's why I was saying it's a relationship. And when we understand it as a relationship, the ultimate positive relationship, you can throw any superlative in there, right? It's a relationship from which you get joy, wonder, awe, appreciation, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the ultimate positivity that you get from this relationship. And it's a relationship. And as such, it is a particular connectivity. And any relationship isn't necessarily built on complete accuracy, right? That's what makes it a relationship, is that it is a particular connection. right? And that particularity is the choice part and the perspective shifting part and seeing things in a particular way. When we love, it changes our perception. How do I know this? Take people that you do love about and say, okay, sure, what did you do, when you got up this morning? What did you have for breakfast? Do you want to know what you had nothing for breakfast? How come?
Sadly, I don't eat breakfast.
Oh, wow. All right. But my point is, Beena, you weren't like, we're going to listen about breakfast talk. Snooze a
from
while.
notice to breakfast now.
Right. My point that
Yeah.
I'm making is
Yes.
because we love Sher can tell us about
Exactly.
breakfast and she could talk about how she combed her hair and God knows what all. It makes a difference. I'm interested because we
Yes.
love. So love changes perception.
It does. It is an interest. I had to do this.
It's a relationship. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I also had to do this because I wanted to see what the dictionary defined love as. I really
Oh,
wanted
good.
to. I wanted to start there.
What does the
Okay.
dictionary say?
Well,
Very good.
it's really kind of interesting. I love the synonyms for love. I think they're amazing. However,
Right.
they have an intense feeling of deep affection.
Mm.
Secondly is a great interest and pleasure in something. Third is deep affection. That one was it again. Like or enjoy very much. And it goes on and on and on. But the synonyms.
Yeah,
the
synonyms always are better.
what are crazy.
Always better.
There's fondness, tenderness, warmth,
Yes.
intimacy, attachment, liking,
Yes.
weakness, partiality. I thought that one was interesting. Leaning,
Yeah.
proclivity, inclination.
Sorry, hang on. Did they say partiality or impartiality?
Partiality.
Yeah,
No,
partiality.
partiality.
Yes, partial. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're very
Appreciation,
partial. Yeah.
disposition, enjoyment, delight, relish, passion, zeal, zest, enthusiasm, keenness,
Right.
predilection, penchant, fondness, and on and on and on. I think the synonyms to this is
superlatives, in other
Yeah,
words,
but
positive.
yeah.
Again, they're not all superlatives, but they are positive relational
all of them.
attitudes, moods, mindsets, feelings. Right?
All of
They
them.
are
What's interesting,
exactly.
weakness is also listed in here. Weakness.
I know that's sad. That's cultural. That's superiority paradigm getting its nonsense in there, and that's terrible. That's terrible. And that's sorry. It must go out. It's not in my thesaurus. No.
I can see that it's a relationship.
Yeah.
Again, varying degrees.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all.
Yeah.
Is he? No.
It's a choice. It's a choice, and that's why I was saying to get sophisticated on it. If we go by what, you go ahead, Sher. I'm not hearing
it's okay.
you.
It's okay.
No,
you're fine.
Right. So what happens typically with love, and just what happens in life in general, is that we react, we behave, we respond according to should and must and supposed to and inadvertent assimilations of how to do things. We aren't consciously, deliberately thinking for ourselves. This applies to love also. But when maybe we can start saying, when I said, what is love to the new nobility? It is about conscious, deliberate choice, as is everything for them, right?
I can get behind that.
This is not so for everybody. They love according to what they think they should love. Yes, you love the strongest, you love beautiful, you love the things that can get you something. That's superiority paradigm love. It's contractual love. It's a whole different thing. Yes, but nonetheless, it's still there, right? And they love, well, I should love you. You're beautiful. Yeah, really? You're a terrible person. See? So if we don't learn to perspective shift, we don't and have discernment, in other words, ADU, and understand, we're going to have a hard time with loving, because yes, you're going to fall for that beautiful narcissist and it's going to eat you up, right? So you cannot have love without awareness. That's why in Camellias, it's coming. It's actually not a part of this story, but it's the final part of Camellias's discussion with Biela. He says, yes, but the ultimate is love. And Biela says, No, sorry, Camillus, it's not. It's love with awareness. And he implodes big time. He rages at her. He gets really upset because he can't handle the fact that to him, what he'd figured out to be the ultimate, she came with this duh. Oh, there has to be more.
Yeah, love
Right.
with awareness.
It has to be, because otherwise we really can get into so much trouble. We love somebody, we want to help them, and but this is good for you, and we do all this nonsense, or we fall for the narcissist, or all sorts of things. So if we don't have love with awareness, because love alters our perception, it is a mechanism by which we can perceive the world in a way we wish to perceive it, because it's a distortion of reality. We could say love is the ultimate distortion of reality. Yes, if you want to have a definition for love. And we're not seeing the thing as it actually is, right? I mean, if you want to break it down and get all clinical, the flower is just organic material. It's like, okay, it's organic material, see? It's like,
if you're
what's to
loving
love?
with awareness, how can you be distorting your reality?
Well, because when I look at that flower, I'm seeing it's something that gives me joy. It's something which I choose to give me joy. See,
Right.
I choose. Some people might not like grass or whatever. Who knows? Some people don't like
Or be
nature.
allergic to it.
Right. Or just, but I can choose. I can choose. And look at people. I mean, I can choose to love everybody, but I have to make that effort to find the thing that can allows me to focus in that I'm now making more of a priority, etc., right? So this is where awareness comes in. It is the awareness that allows you to get to discernment, and discernment to understanding, and then you apply all of that. And the application of ADU in this context is love. Right? When we say ADU leads to application, if we take application to be love, isn't love and loving an application? It's an application of perspective. It's an application of energy. It's an application of emotion, a particular application of all of those, yes? Of mindset, attitude, everything. So we want to apply our emotions, we want to apply our perception, we apply our awareness, so that when we do that with awareness, we get to love. But we don't want to have love blind us either, so we have to have it both ways. We use awareness to get to love, and then when we are at love, we use awareness so that we don't get distorted by love, because that's also possible.
Okay, now my brain is going to break. There's too many different shifts going on at the same time.
All right, let's go slowly. Beena, share. Just let come out of you what comes out, and let's see what comes out.
This is very interesting. Coming back to the normal idea of love. First, the awareness for me was that, okay, yes, it is a very mean business. It is all about me, and that actually just give me freedom from all the expectations. Because it's me. It is my requirement. It is my choice to stay in this feeling. So no expectations. Expectations can come from, of course, from different behavior, different attitude. Like the most important one, the romance. Yes, there can be expectations from that, but the love is purely my thing, my choice. It has nothing to do with other person. What they do, who they are, even a thing or in perspective, whatever. If I'm in love with this, I have no expectation. Just by having this understanding that it is my choice. It is my choice to stay in that feeling, because that person, that perspective, that thing is giving me that feeling where I feel my maximum freedom right there. It's my choice. I'm going to take care of it. What other person is doing or thinking, I have nothing to do with that, because there's no expectation involved in that. That's why for me, this unconditional love is redundant. It's a very redundant term.
Why?
Then if you have unconditional love separate from love, then what your love is?
There you go.
Wait, what?
It is redundant to say that unconditional
Let's
love.
repeat it exactly what you said, Beena.
I'm saying that if your love is separate from the unconditional love, then what your love is.
What is
Because
your
Oh,
love?
love
okay,
is-
okay. If it's separate from unconditional love, you weren't
Yes.
saying it's not unconditional. I mean, because to
No.
me,
No, no.
yeah, I see it
the
only
love
as,
itself is unconditional because it is my choice. There is no
Right.
condition applied on that.
Yeah.
exactly,
I choose
exactly.
to, because
In
that
other
person
words, love is
is-
inherently unconditional. Sorry to interrupt
Okay.
you.
Exactly.
No, I just heard it
Exactly.
wrong.
Exactly. That's why it's redundant to say that, oh, it's an unconditional love. Love is
Yeah.
unconditional. No one can put conditions on me because I choose to love this thing, this perspective, this person,
Wow.
whatever it is, or that scenario, because I want to stay in that feeling. Once I realize that,
Yeah.
it's an unconditional love. It has nothing to do with the other person. So that's for me. There's no superlative degree for love.
Yeah. Yeah.
In
And
itself,
to
it's superlative.
yeah, yeah. And talk about the conditions and how love is this choice. That's why I keep emphasizing love is a choice of relationship. And it's again to understand it in the context of the way the brain is with immersion and emphasis, right? Emphasis is extra emphasized or leveraged with emotion. Yes. So when we have strong love, for instance, it's a strong positive feeling, strong emotion. And this can be applied to anything. There's actually a technical psychological term for people who fall in love in a regular falling in love, romantic, sexual way with inanimate objects. They have every same
Yeah,
thing,
that's a
right?
mental health issue.
Right, but it not necessarily, sure. It's just an immersion issue because they're lonely and they had no place for their love to go. They put it on the inanimate object, and through emphasis, the brain is trained to perceive that object as animate, as more. Right. So we have to understand our brain is very magically plastic, and this is why we have to use love with awareness. With awareness, it's an incredible thing. It's an incredible thing. It's very powerful, very powerful. That's why I was saying love affects reality perception. It's a way of perceiving reality, which is a very beneficial way. But we have to be careful, though, to say, yes, I want to see the beneficial. I want to see, I love the rose, but I don't want to not see the thorns. I want to love the rose with awareness, which means I love it thorns and all. I don't only see the flower part and ignore the thorns, right? That's how you get pricked. So we have to understand this with love. It's the same with people. Love people that you love, thorns and all. Be aware of the thorns, but love them anyway. Yeah.
Right.
Love with awareness. It's so key. So key. I mean, if you think of love as just something that, like, well, why not choose it? Now, in the new nobility, they supplant it with joy instead of love, because love has got so much connections to relationships and marriage and children or whatever, romance, all the stuff. But joy, isn't love just another word for joy, capital J, joy? So they focus on joy as it's an ultimate accomplishment. If you can find joy in anything, you can love anything. If you can love anything, you can find joy in anything. It's all related. It's just saying it in different ways. It's very powerful. What you thinking about, Sher? What you thinking about? Something's running around, bouncing around inside you there. Share.
I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm connecting to parts of it, and other parts I can feel this really weird resistance. And I know
good.
I know what that resistance is. I mean, it's me trying to somehow or another, my brain is still trying to connect to the superiority, the paradigm definition of all of this.
All right.
You gotta remember, I'm still coming out of a lot of that connection to what the traditional idea of love was. I no longer subscribe to that whole relationship, that to have love, you have to be in a relationship.
Exactly.
I don't subscribe to that. I used to, but that's a hard definition a hard concept to move past,
Wow.
or to, teach yourself to move past.
Wow.
So,
All right. Let me give you another definition then, because you
okay.
said, what is love? From the superiority point of view, paradigm point of view, for the superiority paradigm, love is what can you do for me?
You really think so?
Oh yeah. Oh, I love my car. Why? Because what can it do for me? And what does it do for me? So I love when something does something for me, when I get lots of benefit. Oh, my
Okay.
car makes me look wonderful. My car gives me status, right?
Yeah, I hear a lot of people talking about how they love something. I've tried to get away from
Yeah.
using that terminology of, I love that dress, I love the whatever.
Yeah.
Just because it was brought to my attention a long time ago that, you can't really love something that's inanimate like that. It's like, okay, I'll try
Interesting.
not to.
Interesting. Why not?
I don't know. I also find it kind of awkward
Right.
too. I
Right.
can't
But
say
I'm
I
just
love
saying
my
this.
computer.
Yeah, but I love the flowers. Why
Well,
can't I
see, I
love my
don't.
computer?
Well, you can. I'm just saying it's personal preference. I
Yeah, yeah.
particularly don't
No,
like
I realize
saying.
that, and I think it's a legacy baggage thing, because people
No,
want to insist that love is this romantic thing. So therefore, you can't love something that's inanimate.
right, but I don't know. I just got it in my head that, people, animals, yeah, moments, those kinds of things. I don't
Nature?
know.
Can you love nature?
Well, I don't know, but
If you think of,
maybe because it also goes back to, does it love you back, or will it love you back, or can it reciprocate? Maybe that's where I was getting stuck in that definition.
now we have another definition of love.
Uh-huh.
Love is reciprocity, or at least love is the attempt at reciprocity.
Yeah.
Whole different logic to love. Yes,
Yeah.
that's so. In other words, from
That's what I'm trying to disconnect from.
yes, conditional love, which is
Right.
contractual love, which is not
Mhm.
love. That's a contract. I do something for you, you give me something back. I love you, you
Right.
love me back. That's contractual, right? So
Right.
that's a contract, it's not love, right? And that's a
Right.
different thing. Yeah, I mean, when it's
Mhm.
one-sided, and I love you because it gives me joy, like Beena said, it's the ultimate selfishness. That's it. So what does it matter what I love? If you say,
Yes.
well, okay, if you include nature, well, stones are part of nature. I can love a stone. They're going to give me anything back, but I can love it. And ask any geologist, and they'll tell you how much they love stones.
Yeah.
Isn't it just a positive perception of something, an excessively
yeah.
positive perception? And if it's
Yeah,
that's what,
but see how I view love and
yeah,
how I accept and how I
yeah,
experience it doesn't have to be
yeah.
for everybody else.
Right. I agree, but what I'm trying to make the point, though, if we just think about it a bit deeper, simply because you've got a conditioned belief about love doesn't necessarily make it rational or logical,
I
right?
personally
Why
feel
does
that
it have to
we
be rational?
Oh, it doesn't have
exactly.
to be, but here's the point, though. Do you get benefit out of not loving inanimate objects? Why not extend your love to loving everything? And I love the
No,
moon.
I
It's
think that
inanimate,
this,
but
I
I
of
love
want
the
course,
to.
moon.
you can do this. Of course, you can do this because by nature,
All
for
right,
me,
all right. Hold on,
you
hold
know,
on, hold on. Sher said, I don't want to. You don't want to love
yes,
everything?
yes. Why
No,
not?
what's the
It's
purpose?
a choice.
I got more things to
I don't, I'm
love.
sorry, but I don't, but still, I'm sorry, I'm not going to find any enjoyment in loving a rock or in loving,
Hang on a
a
second. So
fence.
whose loss is that?
Not mine.
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, absolutely, it's
No,
yours. Oh, absolutely, it's
Why?
yours. Absolutely, it's yours.
no, no,
Why? Why would it be?
because it's
Inherent in the statement, it is self-evident.
okay. Just want to add something
So
before you
I walk
continue.
by a rock and I can love it, and you don't. So I get joy out of the rock and you don't. I get benefit, you didn't.
Right.
How is that not your loss?
But that's your perception that you got benefit. Maybe I get
Exactly.
benefit by not even paying attention to it, because maybe instead my focus is on the air, the warmth, the
Yes.
sun,
Okay, yes.
the environment. See?
and air is inanimate. The warmth is inanimate. The sun is inanimate.
But I'm not saying I'm loving it. I'm getting enjoyment from it. Just because I enjoy something
Yes.
doesn't mean that I have
So
to
how is
love
enjoyment not just a little bit of love?
it.
A little bit of, okay, now it's a different
See,
thing.
it's
Now
just
you're
all the
changing
same
the
See,
scale. It's all the same
no.
scale.
But,
Why is love different to enjoying something? If I'm just loving something, I'm maximally enjoying it. It's the same
Okay.
thing.
this,
But
this,
so
it's personal. Again, it is
what I'm
personal.
gonna right, there we go. It's how I express it and it's how you express it. Just because I see something as one way doesn't mean that I have to see it yours and vice versa.
Oh, I'm not saying you have to see it my
Okay.
way. I'm going by your internal logic. It has nothing to do with my opinion on it.
Mhm.
If you say I'm enjoying the sun and the warmth and the love, isn't enjoyment on the same scale as love?
No, not necessarily. There's varying degrees.
It's the
I
same
have
scale. That's what I'm saying. It's on the same scale. There's a scale on one side is enjoyment, and on the other side is love, and there's stuff in between. No?
Still, I just want to say something, because what you are saying, it's about, of course, acceptance and giving due respect. That, okay, yeah, the rock is, of course, you see the value, and then, of course, you say that, okay, it is having some purpose. But for me, the love.
Oh no,
again,
I just like the color of it, maybe, or just the fact that it
okay, so
exists.
then it is, again, it is, you like the color. That is the real essence behind all these things. When people say that, okay, I love my car, because they don't say that actually in true essence, that they actually love this car. They love the feeling that car provides them, to give them.
That's
Yeah.
what love is. That's what I said. It's a feeling. It's a
They just love
relationship.
that feeling.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
okay, I know, but it is what is for you, not necessarily for other people. It
That's what
cannot
I'm
be.
saying.
If
Right,
I
right.
cannot love a rock, this
I
is my
understand,
choice.
but I realize that. That's what I'm trying to make the point here. Love is
Yes.
choice. Isn't it seem
Yes.
to be, if we can extend our ability to choose to love a greater range, doesn't that expand our range of things to love and
You
add
want
to
us
our
to
lives?
deliberately love everything, yes?
I'm not saying you have to. I'm simply saying, pointing out that if you are able to, this is a great accomplishment, is it not? Is it
Yeah,
not
okay,
beneficial to be able to love more things than less?
I have the choice to love more things, but I also choose to also, tighten up my compass in some areas. I just don't see any benefit to, I don't know,
If you
loving
don't
certain
see a
things.
benefit to loving something, then you don't understand love.
Well, then I guess I don't understand love, and we'll leave
Am
it
I
at
right?
that.
I mean, how is there not a benefit to loving something? That's the point of love. It's a benefit that you
But I
get
thought it
from.
was a choice. If it's a choice, then it's a
It's
choice.
exactly. I'm choosing to benefit. So if I can choose to benefit, how do I not when I have the opportunity to do so? You see, circular logic in a way.
Very,
I don't know.
yeah,
I
but
feel like it's
this
splitting
is very,
hairs at this point.
All right. Well, bottom line
yes.
is, sure. Bottom line is, right. When you walk around, you say, I love this. I love this. I don't love this. I don't love this. Yes.
Okay, we can. I don't really
Well,
think
you
about it
do. You
much.
said,
Yes.
I don't love the rocks.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you didn't say you loved nature. You said you loved lots of things, but not nature wasn't included.
Yes.
Now, many
I
people
don't
are going
love
to say,
I don't love everything about nature.
I wasn't saying love everything about nature. I said love nature in general.
But that's, or I don't know. I just can't.
It's
That's
not
just too
splitting hairs.
overgeneralizing.
What's that?
It's overgeneralizing. I don't know. I'm very selective. I'm selective about what I say that I love
Why?
and what I don't.
Why?
Because
Why
I
be
am.
selective? But just because you
Because I
are,
can choose to.
I understand. But just because you can choose to do something doesn't necessarily mean it's a good idea to exercise that choice. See? Just because
No.
you can doesn't necessarily make it a good idea.
No, I can't get on board with that.
What do you mean? You mean to say that just because you can do something, it makes it a good idea?
Just because you can do something always doesn't make it a good idea to do something.
Correct. Correct. That's exactly what I'm saying. So now if we think about you saying, yes, but I'm choosing what to love and not to love. And you are justifying not loving things because you can choose to do so. Okay.
Right?
It's kind of like a little bit of a minor little circle bubble logic there.
No, but no, you've got the same one though. I mean, because you're choosing to love everything.
All right, because I get benefit from the loving. And if I don't love it, then I'm missing out on a benefit.
I
As
just
simple
don't
as that.
see that. See, and that's where we, I mean, and it's okay. I respect what you're saying, but I just can't get on board with that. And that's okay. It
Okay.
doesn't make me any less of a person just because
All right.
there's something I choose not to love.
Who
It's
said it
just-
makes you less of a person? Where did that come from?
Nobody did. So I'm just making a point there. It doesn't,
Yeah, but see,
it doesn't mean that
I
I'm losing anything. I don't feel that way.
I understand that, but I'm saying that's why I mentioned that point, because I think there's an association in the brain somewhere that if I don't choose, then it makes me less. For me, at least, that's not in the
No.
equation here. It's not in the discussion, right?
No.
I mean, that's sort of, you said the sentence. It's like, well, why say it? Somewhere in there's a connectivity. Yeah.
Okay. No.
All right. Well, anyway, my main point is let's take this on another angle and say, fine, you say I get to choose to love and I'm selective about my love. Somebody
Yes, I
else
am.
comes, right? And you take great
Yeah.
pride in this.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody else who's got the same logic to say, I'm even more selective than Sher. I love very few things. Well, actually, you know what? I only love one thing, whatever that thing is.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, wow, okay, good for you. Except I'm like, it's kind of a waste.
But
So
why
much.
is it a waste?
Why? That's the question. Explain to me why it is a waste, not me to you. You explain to me why it's a waste.
No, I'm asking you. I said, why
I
is that a
understand.
waste?
I understand. So practice this as a mental exercise. Get into making an argument for why it's a waste, even though you don't think it's a waste. See if you can make an argument why it could be seen as a waste by someone like me. It's kind of a duh. Okay, somebody says, I choose not to love anything. Never mind, just one thing. And I say, well, good for you. Of course you can choose that. Just because you can choose it doesn't mean it makes sense to choose it. Sure, of
Doesn't
course
make
you're free
sense
to
to-
choose not to love anything.
See, what I was getting at is it may not make sense to you. The way I see things is, of course, not because we're all so individual. It just doesn't, it makes no sense to me to expect that somebody else is going to think like you or think like me.
I'm not
meaning
expecting
to say
something
you.
to think about it.
No,
Okay, now let's set this
that's not
aside.
what
Yeah,
I'm-
sure.
Okay,
Hold on.
that's not what I meant. No, let me finish,
Okay,
please.
okay.
That's not what I meant. You was just, I was being overgeneral there.
All right.
It doesn't make sense if somebody doesn't think like me. Shame on me if I'm expecting somebody else to think like me and for
Right.
somebody else to accept everything that I think and say and feel and believe.
Yeah.
That would be.
Oh, I
that's
agree
not good.
entirely. I agree entirely. That's why I'm making a great effort to not have this come from my personal perspective. I am
Right.
going inherently. So I'm taking your logic and I'm applying your logic, not mine, yours, which says, yes, my love is choice. This is your logic, your sense. Well, I may or may not agree with it. It's irrelevant. And I'm saying, fine, I love, and love is a choice to me. And I choose not to love everything. So I said, okay, somebody else uses your same logic and they choose to love only one thing, or they
Okay.
choose to love nothing.
Right.
Now,
And that's their choice.
I agree it's their choice, but it's also sometimes we can say, fine, it's your choice to go and jump off a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make it a sensible choice.
Mm-mm.
Does it make it a beneficial
No,
choice?
it doesn't. It
Right.
doesn't. But
Exactly.
it's their choice. And we have no authority to control those choices.
But who's saying anything about controlling choice? That's why I don't understand why this is even in the conversation. It's not
Because you had
implied in.
said, because you had said a few moments ago that why would I not choose that benefit?
But that doesn't imply that you should. I'm simply asking an earnest question. Just because I can choose something that's not beneficial doesn't make it a legitimate reason to exercise that choice. Ability and validity are two different things. And I'm making an effort not to confuse the two, to say there's an ability to make a choice, and therefore, because I'm able, it makes it valid. No, no, absolutely not.
I understand that.
Right. So now I'm asking the question again, for not you, but that person who says, I'm going to choose, I'm going to exercise my choice not to love anything. And I say, good, you have that freedom to make this choice. Is it a valid choice? Of course, it's valid in the sense that you can choose it. Is it valid in the context of getting you value? Now it's a different question. When
But
we
is that
look at
judgment though?
I don't care. It's value to you. It's not me judging for myself. It's
Okay.
value to you. Does your choice bring you value? According to your criteria, your logic. I'm talking to this person who's not choosing to love, right? Say, you exercising the choice. You may get value out of saying, I've made this choice. And that's what you get value out of, right? And I get that. I understand that. But is the choice itself valuable to you according to your own criteria? Do you get more out of it or less out of it in terms of love and enjoyment and fun and interactivity, etc., all the positives that come from the choice and all the not so positives or less than positives or absence of positives? You don't necessarily get negatives, but if you choose not to love, are you not now choosing the absence of positives? So according to your own criteria, you're losing out. Not according to my criteria. I'm not judging it. I'm observing. I'm observing. Yeah, I'm listening, Beena. I'm listening.
I don't
I
feel
want to
that
say
it's losing
something
out.
because what you are saying right now and what Sher says about this, isn't it what way of impeccability when we say that, okay, you don't need to be positive. All you need to be is not negative. So I'm not
It's
hating
connected.
anything.
Yeah.
I'm just not loving. And this is
Yeah,
my
I
choice.
agree. I have no problem with people making that choice. This I have to be very clear. I'm simply saying, though, that
Cannot have a choice.
right. All I'm pointing out is, according to their internal criteria, they're losing out.
But that's your judgment. That's the point I'm trying to
How
make.
is it a judgment according to their own criteria? It's not my criteria, it's theirs.
Because I'm listening to what you said. Because you're saying they're losing out.
Correct.
Yes.
Whoa. But you have to hear the whole sentence, sir. I said, according to their own criteria, they are losing out. That doesn't
No,
make it a
they're not
judgment.
losing
But
out.
that's still you
It's
making
not
a
a judgment.
Not
It's according
again.
to their own criteria. It's an observation, not a judgment. It's an observation.
Even,
According
sir,
to
this
their
is
own
something.
criteria.
But if you said, I believe or I feel, or in
No,
my opinion.
No, sir. No. It's this is not where I need to say in my opinion. If I say a sentence like, according to your own criteria, you are losing out. This is an observation that if you are losing out because of your own criteria, it's just the truth. It's not in my opinion. It's simply an observation. It's just a fact. There's nothing to do with my opinion. If you're losing out because of your choices based on your own criteria, this is an internal logic. It's nothing to do with
at all
me.
to state it. No, but still,
It's just our language is. It's just our logic is. Our sensibility is. It's nothing to do with opinion here. It's not an opinion.
But
how is it an opinion?
Why you are stating it? Because you are stating it.
Why am I stating it? Because it's fascinating that people can set up criteria and act according to their
Yes,
own criteria and lose
exactly.
out
Yes,
according to their own criteria. In other words, kind of like
lose
square
out
circle logic.
is yours. Maybe they are actually getting more value because they are very focused and specific. Do we really need to have more than like, okay, like everything? No, we can choose and
You don't
still
have to
get
have
the
more. Of course, you
same
can choose
value.
less if you want it to be. Of
It's not
course.
less. It is
It's not less.
getting the value from one source or having multiple sources. That's it. I don't
How
feel
is it
that
not
okay there
less
is it,
according to
because
your
when
own
you are
criteria?
stating exactly like when you say in way of impeccability that you don't need to be positive, all you need is to not be negative. Like if you are actually stating that okay they are losing, no, they are not losing. It's a neutral
Mm-mm.
state. And when it comes to personal choice, I have every right to be very specific.
Of course, you have a right. I'm not arguing that you
Yes,
have a
I
right or
can
not.
extract value when
Of course,
I
you can extract value from limited choices.
feel
I'm not denying that
comfortable.
either.
But this statement in itself is a judgment. Okay, all right, well,
No, it's not a judgment. It's an observation. It's a very big difference.
then you cannot assume that okay, it's an assumption. It's
I'm not assuming according to my criteria. I'm using somebody else's criteria, what they've stated themselves. I'm not assuming anything. Not assuming anything.
nothing to lose.
Okay,
Say again?
if impeccability, she said there's nothing to lose. If impeccability is best use of energy,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
me, in a moment, I'm taking a walk and somebody says, don't you just love, don't you just love the lines on this bridge?
Yes.
And I say, well, I can appreciate them. I can appreciate the architecture,
Yes.
but no, I don't love it. To
Yes.
me, I am applying best use of my energy in that moment because I'm choosing something that's still
Absolutely.
positive and I'm replying in a very positive way, but I'm choosing not to put my energy in that moment into the feeling of love. Instead, I'm just appreciating it for what it is.
Yes.
Interesting. So for you then, right, to love something, it is an energy investment that you make.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Absolutely it is.
Now, in the energy investment, right? In some things from what you say, not me, from what
Back
you
and forth
say.
exchange of energy.
Hang on. From what you're saying, sometimes if you choose something, at least in this investment of choosing to love something, sometimes the reward that you get back isn't that great compared
Right.
to
Even
others.
when it comes to people, because if I choose love for people, for animals, for there's a word that I'm looking for. It's not coming to me right now, for people and for animals, birds, etc. Those are what I can apply love to. Now, am I going to get love back from people and animals and things like that? Not always, no. But I know that as long as I am putting forth love, that good positive feeling, that unconditional regard of you have my affection, my attention, my honor, my respect, all of that. I can do that. And I choose to put my energy there, but I'm not going to put it into, I love this, I love the shape, or I love the color. It's just not where I don't feel it when I do that. So I choose to appreciate things. I appreciate
Exactly.
colors. I appreciate shapes. I appreciate architecture. I appreciate the color of our sky. It's an absolute fantastic blue. But I reserve my love for people and for animals and for things that you can hug and touch.
Hang on, finish that sentence. Things that you can what?
Hug and touch.
Oh, so love has criteria for you. It's conditional.
Oh, yes.
Sometimes, but I'm not thinking conditional in the
No,
way
it's
that you're thinking
right.
conditional.
It's
Hmm.
not
I'm just not.
conditional.
Say again, Beena?
It's not
If
conditional.
of course it's conditional. If she's saying I reserve my loves for things that I can hug and
This is a
touch.
choice, Sil. This is a choice.
Beena, but it doesn't matter that it's a choice. I'm not arguing it's a choice. It's a condition, whether it's a chosen or chosen condition or
when
not.
she is expecting something in exchange of it. This is condition. Condition is when she wants them to be in a specific way. That is
Hang on.
condition. But if
Go
Yeah.
back.
choosing,
Exactly. She's right. Beena's right. That to me is condition. If I'm going to love something and I'm expecting it to reciprocate in a very specific way, that's conditional. That's conditional. If I'm loving somebody, if I'm saying I love you because of X, Y, and Z, and I expect this in return.
Yeah,
that
you
to
want
me is-
something that you want a hug or touch. You want physicality in return.
I
she won't touch.
no,
Not she wants them to
my
touch
dog
her.
can't
necessarily.
hug me.
Yes.
But you
Luke
can
can't
touch your
hug
dog.
me,
But you can
Yes.
but I
touch your
can
dog.
touch her and I can
Like
pet
you
her and
smell
I
the
can feel
roses.
her warmth.
Like you can
This is
smell the
what you
roses.
get out of it. It's conditional.
Oh, Jesus.
Still,
give
I
up.
guess like, okay, you are not in a
Well,
very
you said
receptive
it
mood
yourself.
today.
It's not my opinion. Sher said, I reserve my love for things I can hug.
This
Hang
is
on,
what
let me
she's
finish. Hang
exercising.
on. For things I can hug and touch. Isn't that
Yes.
a condition that she? This is the very nature and definition of condition. To say this, I'm reserving my love. I need certain
that was
conditions.
just an
I need to be able to
example.
hug it and
Choice.
touch it.
That was
It's a
just an
condition.
example.
Choice.
Who's
Yeah.
arguing choice? That's my point. Sher's making a choice to love in this particular way. Yeah.
But it's not the only way that I love. You know, I mean, it's just
So
So
not.
how do you love the
I
sky?
I cannot name all the things and all the ways that
She
I
says,
love.
I appreciate sky.
I appreciate the sky.
I
its
asked, how
color.
do you love the sky?
I don't love
She
the
says,
sky.
I appreciate.
There you
appreciate
go.
it.
There you go.
Do you love the sky?
Oh, hell yes.
Okay, well, good. I'm
This
happy
is who you
for you.
are. Not, of course, not
Because
me.
I
not
can
us.
choose to love it. And why would I not if I can?
This is
But
your
that's your
choice again.
philosophy. That's your choice.
That's your choice.
Explain to me why you would not choose to love something.
Because it's not where I choose to put my energy.
That's not the reason. That's saying the obvious. I said, explain to me why you choose. And you say, because I choose to do that. No, why do you choose to do that?
Why choose to do it? Because we can. Simple.
Hello,
Because we
CJ.
can. just
Hello,
because we can.
Yes, Job. Yes, Job. Yes, Job. I inflicted you with all of these terrible things. And Job says, but why? But why? Because I am. Because I can.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't get into those
It's a
religious
very pathetic
references.
way of
I
saying
can't.
that.
It's the
I
same
can't.
point. It's the same point. It's the same point.
No.
Yes. Yeah,
No.
I'm
It's
not
not.
shouting. I'm not shouting, Norma. I'm not even close to shouting. I'm enjoying the
but
conversation. It's not negative.
Yes, but
It's
it is.
just
He's
joyful.
very actively, over energetically just
I
involved
love
in
it. It's exciting. It's exciting, Norma. It's exciting. We cannot insist on seeing excitement as negative simply because there's a disagreement. That's superiority paradigm thinking. Sorry. right?
Oh,
I'm
exactly.
fascinated by this. I'm absolutely fascinated because I say, why do you choose not to love the sky? And you say, well, because I choose it.
That's
It's
right.
like,
Yes, like
Why do you choose to
why
eat?
you love everything? Because you choose.
Because you choose. Why do you choose to eat? Why do you choose to
all
walk?
right, all right, all right. Let me answer your question. You're asking me earnestly, why do I choose to
Yeah.
eat?
Yeah.
I'm going to answer it with Sher's
Choose to
answer.
love everything.
Hang on, Beena. Hang on. I want to get this question again here. What's the question?
Why do you choose to eat?
Okay.
Beena?
My question is why you choose to love everything.
No, the question right now is, that's why I was wanting to have clarity because you were kind of talking over here and it was getting a little unclear. Why do I choose to eat? I'm going to answer it with Sher and Beena logic. I choose to eat because it's my choice.
It is your choice.
Okay.
Does that answer your question as to why
Yes.
just because it is my choice, that's not an answer for why I choose it.
Then explain that why you choose to love everything.
Why not? Why
Just
not?
answer why you.
Because
No,
it's
don't turn
beneficial.
the
It
question.
gives me extra value.
For
It's like,
you. Exactly for
For you.
you.
I
That is the
understand that.
answer.
I understand that. I'm not saying
And there is
anybody
no
else must
question.
do this.
You are
Again, you
saying that.
hang on.
You
No,
are.
I'm
You
not.
are saying
No,
this.
I am not.
But both
It's
of
an
us heard it.
assumption. It's
You
an
were pushing.
assumption.
You were
You
pushing
hang
us.
on, hang on, slow down. You said, why do I choose to love everything? I said, why not? And it gives me value. Where, when I say it gives me value, where am I saying you need to do this? Nowhere,
You were saying
nowhere,
that. Okay,
nowhere.
why don't you love everything? Because I don't want to. That's it.
I
The
understand,
value
but now I want to know why you don't want to.
for limited thing is enough for me.
Because
Because
it
the
is. I
value
like
I'm
Beena's
getting for
answer.
limited
It's
things and
enough.
people is enough for me.
Now we're getting
Yeah.
somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. I
Like
see,
some
again,
people
set this.
literally some people read thousands of books and some people don't, but they get the same value.
Yeah. Value and usefulness.
Exactly.
Right,
The way
right.
I love
So,
is useful to me. It's useful
all
to
right.
me.
And did I ever dispute this? I wanted clarity. You guys made so many assumptions here. It's horrible. You assume that I'm trying to
No, not
impose my.
horrible.
Yes, it is. It's horrible. Yes, yes.
No,
You assume
because
that I'm trying
you
to
were
impose
imposing.
my opinions, and it got
Yes.
all lost when I wasn't doing anything. I wanted to get you to explain why you choose, and to say I
You were
choose
saying
because I
till you
choose
are
is
at
not.
loss
Hang on, Beena. Hang on,
because
hang
you
on. Let
give
me
a
finish, Beena.
verdict.
Beena, hold on. Let me make my point, please, Beena. To say I choose because I choose, that's why I choose, is because I choose. That's not the reason. Now
Because
you are saying, hang
before
on,
that you
Beena,
give a
hang on,
verdict.
hang on, Beena,
Before
hang
that you
on,
give a verdict.
hang on, Beena.
Okay,
I'm trying to make
you
a
were
point and
talking.
get to finish the point. All
No,
right,
you
what am I
were
going to say?
making points. Okay.
The point is, I was keen to know why you would not choose, not because I think you should, no, but I want to understand why for you it is, and for both you and Sher now, and Beena, for you and Sher. The reason you don't choose to love everything is because, if I understand it correctly, right, I'm going to do a takeaway or repeat back here. If I understand it correctly, you don't choose to love everything because you find value in having limited love. And also the investiture of energy. No, that's not it.
No, you're incorrectly naming and calling it limited love. It's not limited.
No. I didn't say, no. I didn't say limited love. No, I did not.
You did.
I did not, Sure. I said you choose to limit your love, not limited love. That's a different thing. Limit your love to a certain selection of things. It's a very different thing. So there's two different points. I'm not splitting hairs. It's a very different thing. If you are saying I love this only and not that, then you're limiting your love. It's very simple. I'm not saying
This is
what you love is limited. The things that you do love, give full love to. but you are limiting the range of things you love. All right, let me make it more specifically then. You are limiting the range of things you love. Yes?
Why
Isn't
can't
that
you just, okay, so what would be wrong with accepting that I have varying degrees? Like I said earlier, I've got
There's nothing
love
wrong.
up top here, it's at the very top, and then down here I have appreciation. And in the middle, there's varying degrees, but in the middle, I am selective about what I love.
Sure.
And,
I have no problem
that's,
with any of this. All I want is, we said, love with awareness. I want just getting to clarity,
and that's what it
because
is.
now we've got a whole different new thing that's come into it, which is great. We're
Mm-mm.
getting to understand it a bit more, at least in the expression of it. Yes, maybe you understood this, but now we're getting to be more clear about the expression.
Hold on, still. Yes, hold
Yeah.
on, hold on. Because this whole thing started because you said that, oh, it's your loss. That was
That's it,
something.
right
It is
there.
your idea, your perspective. After that, this whole thing
According to
started.
your own
What we were saying that,
criteria, not my
No.
let
opinion.
me see, let me finish. Even if it was you, according to you, it was according to my own criteria or Sher's own criteria. It has nothing to do with you. But you were just saying that, okay, oh,
What
it
do you
is
mean
your
it has?
loss. It's a judgment right there.
What
Okay,
difference?
it's not
Hang
bad
on,
to
it's
have a
not a
judgment. No
judgment. It's
problem.
not. It's an observation. It's not
No,
a judgment.
it was
It's
because
not a
from way of
judgment if it's
impeccability,
according to your
let me
own
see,
criteria.
let me finish.
Yeah, but you're
Because
stating
this
a statement
statement,
that's untrue, so the rest follow after that is also untrue. So you have to correct that. I'm not
then you
making a
have to correct
judgment
your
if I'm
statement
assessing
also. So
something according to its
you
own
were
criteria.
you were doing that, and it was not needed. Absolutely not
Doing what?
needed.
Doing
It was
what?
very first. It's a bit like giving that statement.
Why? So all right. So
Needed.
in this, just because you didn't like it doesn't mean it
No,
wasn't
it is
needed
my
or
It was.
appropriate.
You
Oh,
were
boy.
pushing me to make choices according to your
I'm
criteria.
not pushing you to do anything. This is assumption again that you and Sher are making. I'm not pushing you to do anything.
No,
It's complete
Now
assumption.
we are making
No.
assumptions.
Of course you are. First of all,
no,
you're
we're
assuming
not.
that, of course you're assuming that I'm making a judgment when it's just an assessment. It's an observation. What is the point of what our whole conversation? It's about love. You say it's not needed.
Yes.
How is me not making this observation? How is it
The
not appropriate?
observation has to be in a way which you were sharing, like, oh, it is your
I-
loss.
I'll I'll
You were
prove
giving a
to you that you're
statement.
losing out, but you don't want to hear my
But
proof.
no, I don't want to, because it is my
Exactly.
choice. Of
Exactly.
course,
So
if
that
even
doesn't
if
mean that
let
my
me
statement
finish,
is incorrect.
let
You
me
don't want
finish.
to hear it. That's a
Even if
different thing.
person, let me finish. If even if a person choose the whole universe, is still there is more out there. So by default, everything is everyone is at loss. Oh, I love this universe, the whole universe.
The
Even this
universe, by
universe is
definition, means everything.
okay, no, but according to our understanding, there is always more. Okay, yes.
Right.
Who knows
So
that
you
how many
love them
universes
all.
are out there? Okay, no, but who says that? Do I really have to know? No.
You don't have to.
And
No.
also, like, why I
Who
would do
says you
that?
have to? Who says you have to?
Why I would do that? I'm not just choosing it. I like lilies and I don't like roses. So what?
Yeah.
So
So
what?
you're like not liking.
Roses gives
That's
me
not
a different
true.
feeling which I don't
I
want
think
to.
it is. I think it is, sure. I absolutely think it is. You like
Where
not
is
liking. I'm talking to
here?
Beena now. She just said it.
Yes. What I said? Oh, repeat this, please. It was cutting out.
You said, I like roses, but I don't like lilies. I said,
Yes.
and the way in the context you were saying, well, I like this and I don't like this. I like to not like. It's a choice that I make.
Yes, because
Yeah.
roses give me an allergy, but lilies does not. That's it. And I don't want to have that allergy.
Right. But you're choosing. It's choice. It's
And
choice.
they are not giving me that feeling, which is as compared to what love is for me.
Yeah.
They're not giving me that feeling.
Yeah.
So I don't feel that. Am I obliged to? No.
No.
Who says you're
There's
obliged
no
to?
obligation.
If it's choice,
No.
who says you're obliged to?
Yes. And even no one can
Right?
actually
Hang on.
compare my choice
Hang on.
to that. This
The
is
Beena,
less
the
choice.
fact that you
This is with
say
less
I'm
choice and
obliged to, implies
No
you're
one
still
can gauge
thinking
the
about
value
this.
I'm getting from it. No one can gauge the value.
I
If I'm
agree.
getting a
I
value
agree.
just from one rose and I'm not liking any or not loving, okay, not loving any
No,
other thing,
no,
who can
no.
gauge the value I'm getting from the rose?
Mhm.
No
I
one.
agree. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I don't feel I'm normal, Norma. No, Norma, you did say that you don't think love is a choice. We can't help loving someone that is appealing to us. I disagree. I absolutely disagree. I'm sorry. This is
Why?
this. What? Why? What? Sure.
Love is a choice, and we can choose to love people.
Right. That's what I was just saying. You said why, like as if you didn't agree with what I'm saying, but I'm just reading Norma's comment, and I'm saying I don't agree with Norma's comment. Norma
but
is
there
saying
are,
it's not a choice. We can't help loving someone that is appealing to us. And I said, we can. It's a choice. Love is a choice. We are conditioned to believe we should do things, and that robs us of choice. So we do things automatically. But just because for it can be not a choice because of conditioning, but is it actually not a choice? No, it's in a small bubble, it's not a choice. But in the bigger picture, absolutely it's a choice. We just have to unhook from those things that pressure us to make that think it's our choice. But it's in the end, or it's not a choice, I should say, make us think it's not a choice. But of course it's a choice, right? I mean, if you love something and I come along and say, here's $1 billion not to love them, you'll be surprised how many people will stop loving it, right? So a lot of things can affect our perception of choice. And when we love somebody and you discover things, now suddenly you change your mind and then you don't love them. So many things affect our love. We aren't absolutely slaves to being forced to love. It may seem that way, but it just seems that way. It's not actually so. We choose. Love is a choice. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I know you love me, as Norma, and just because you don't know why doesn't mean it's not a choice, right? That's just, sort of not just, you just simply don't know. I mean, you might say, well, assume that because I don't know, I don't have a choice, but that's an assumption again, right? Just because you don't know doesn't mean it's not a choice. Who knows? I mean, just subconsciously, there's many things that why you wish to choose to me. I can give you a long list of why you may choose this. I mean, why wouldn't you choose it? It gives you benefit. All right, there you go. It's very simple as that, and your love is returned. So it's a wonderful thing. Yeah, you can love me. You can love me without risk. There's so many reasons why you can, love me. There's no risk in loving me. There's no threat in loving me. Yeah. So it, nonetheless, it's still choice. Yeah. If I had choice, I
Yeah.
would choose somebody else. Well, choose somebody else, Norma. You have that choice. This is just an idea that you don't have it. I'm sorry. I don't see it's not as a reality. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
What's stopping you from choosing somebody else? All right, let's explore. Let's hear Beena and Sher on this. Do you feel that there are like times like when, at least what Norma says, that we can't help loving somebody that is appealing to us? Change your
Because we don't
criteria
want
of
to
what appeals to
let
you.
go of those feelings. Okay, we don't want to let go of those feelings, what we feel, so that it is
We
it is
don't
again
want
our
to
own
let
choice.
go.
And
Yes, yes. We don't want to let go. So that's choice. See, we don't want to let go of those feelings that we have. It's a choice. See, Norma, you might not have chosen to feel that way in the first place, but you can choose
yes,
to hold on to it, or you can choose to let go. You might not want to choose to let go because you get great benefit out of it, right?
Even our stories give us benefits. So
Say again, sure.
I said, even our stories that we build in our mind give us benefit.
Exactly, exactly,
yes,
exactly,
yes.
exactly. Now
Okay,
repeat
just
that
on a
sentence one
lighter
more
note.
time, please. Repeat that sentence one more time,
Yes,
please.
please.
Even
I
our,
said, even our stories give us benefit. The stories that we develop in our minds give us benefit.
there you go. The key point, in our mind. Yes.
Right.
I mean, yes. I mean, it's. I'm now focusing on that aspect of it. It's a broad statement that has many applications, but this is the key. It's about how we perceive the benefit, and that was what I was enjoying earlier about you guys' perspective on love, you and Beena, right? In that you were saying, but I choose not to love everything. You have a story in your mind as how you
No.
get benefit. Hang on, how you get benefit out of loving certain things and not others.
And then you've got the same story. You have the same story.
Yes, I agree.
You have a story in your mind that you
Yes,
get
I agree.
massive benefit out of loving everything.
I agree. I agree. Again, this
Well, then
whole
don't deny
idea.
us our story.
I was. Who said? That's my point. This is why I was getting a bit excited, because you guys keep insisting that I'm trying to say you mustn't, you shouldn't. I'm making judgments. No, all I was after was clarity of awareness, and here we have it now. You are choosing. I was using all of this to bring to the fore the point
We already knew
about
we were
how.
choosing.
Yes, I know that you were choosing, but choosing what and why? It's the fact that you're choosing that you already knew, but why you were choosing, that's a different point. And that's the point that wasn't that clear. It's now clear, but it wasn't earlier. Now it's obvious, and it seems like it would have been clear then too, but it wasn't. So now it's very clear that there is a benefit to making this particular choice. Yes?
Well, there's a benefit in
Sorry,
the fact that
mine
it's the best use of my energy. So
Correct. According
I
to
just
your
choose it.
internal story. Yeah.
Yes.
What do you mean,
Yes,
is it not according to your internal story?
of course it is because of that, Sher, and no one can judge or gauge that, okay, what value I'm getting
Exactly.
and what I'm
Exactly.
not getting. No one
Exactly.
can, because the value is up to
Exactly.
me, that okay, I can get value out of just the grain of sand, or like, okay, from anything, and
Yeah.
people will not get value from the whole mountain. So it of course it difference. It's not a comparison there. It is completely 100% my receptivity, my choice, that okay, I choose to,
Mhm.
and because I'm very thorough and very receptive actually towards things and people, then I cannot have many people. I cannot have many things in my life which I really love. I can say that, okay, I love, because yes, some people might have this capability, this capacity. I don't have that. Or maybe I have, but still I don't want to engage completely. No, I don't want to. I want to just keep something free and let the energy flow. So there are so many things. Anyway, just to make it end it on a lighter note. It is interesting because I have written somewhere. I actually I just forgot about that. But I wrote a short story about this. A guy came to a
Ah,
girl and say that, okay, oh yes, and they were it was a small talk, and it was starting, and then the guy was trying to actually flirt with her. She's and
hang
the
on, start
way he
again. I
was
missed the
portraying
start.
that,
I missed the
he
start
just
of the
fall in
story.
love immediately,
Been
love at
been.
first sight. And he says that, okay, I love your green eyes. Oh, can you
Just
guys hear
start
me?
again. I missed the start of it, please. I missed the
Okay,
start
so
of it.
it was a short story about two people. They just met in a coffee shop, and the guy assumed that he fell in love immediately, love at first sight kind of a thing, with a girl sitting next to him. And then he start talking to, and then he says that, okay, yeah, and then he just built up a story about that love at first sight, and then he says, you know what, I truly love you because I love your green eyes and I love these things and all. It's a long list. And the girl says that, you said that you love my green eyes. Actually, you don't love my green eyes. You love the memory of the green eyes you have already.
Ah, interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then she started just knocking down all these statements. He was saying that it's not me, it's the memory of different incidents, different people in your life, and the feelings attached to that. So what you are assuming, that you just fell in love with me, it's not actually. You just get some memories, flashback, and when you look at
Right.
me, and now you assume that you love me. And that was a story I just wrote, and I don't know where it is, but I will try to find this again.
Yeah, please
But
do.
that
Please
is
do.
something,
Yeah.
because this is something people just assume that, oh, I love this person. Why? I don't know. Sometimes they do have some memories attached to, maybe a sound, maybe the way they talk, the way they sit, the way they walk, or just their looks, or anything, or the way they care. Could be anything, but mostly we fell in love with the memory of the experiences. It's a very
Ah,
romanticized. Again, it is coming back
yeah.
to the very complex. That's why I was
Yes.
saying
Yes.
that people, the value I can acquire is up to me. It depends on my
Exactly.
receptivity. I can
Exactly.
acquire a value from a single sentence and keep life. I can get that. But
Yeah.
tons of books cannot give me that same value. So what me
Right.
and Sher were saying, that's why when you said that, by implication, not necessarily what your intent was, not necessarily what you meant, but by implication, it was like you were giving a judgment that, oh, it is your loss. So what you are doing, it is your
Yeah. Yeah.
observation, but
Yeah.
it's a direct, it was a direct statement towards what my choices and Cher's choice was. And
Yeah. Yeah.
of course, we were giving, and we were also giving some observations in a statement way, which is okay, but it has to be by implication also, it has to be very clear. Sometimes the intent get muddled or
Yes.
perceived as muddled
Very good
because
point.
of the
Yeah.
implication. So it gets
Yeah.
into that, okay, when
Yeah.
we get so much energy. That's why in my moon text also, that this uncomfortable, like right now when we were having this conversation, not argument at all. When we were in conversation, it was not that which was giving us more like heightened energy. It was the
Yeah.
memory of the previous experiences. Like when someone and someone was not listening, that's why we get into this. So the memory of the experience is a big huge deal, mostly in our life, where the whole personality, our personality develops because of the memory of those experiences. It
Mm.
could be positive, it could be negative, neutral, whatever. I'm not saying that it's not only about negative, but right now I can experience that, because when you were saying that, okay, it's okay, you give us clear from your side. It was not very clear the way you were saying. The statement was clear, very clear.
Yeah.
So your intent might be very good, impeccable, but it was not
Yeah.
communicated
I
as
agree. I
clearly as
agree.
to.
Yes. Yes.
And the way we were getting defensive because of our the memory of our experiences before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
can see right there in
Associations.
this
This has been on my
it's
mind all throughout what you've been saying, and also with what Norma said. Associations.
yes,
So when we
yes.
look at this
So
deeper point
it's
of love, and let's look really closely at associations, and
yes,
also how we associate things, right? So Norma says earlier, I'm just going to use your thing as an example here, Norma. I'm not necessarily focusing on this. She just says, I liked you and knew you, and it turned into love. And so it just happened to her. Now, by association, if
yes,
something just happens to us, we tend to assume that we didn't choose it. And if we didn't choose it and it's
like
happened,
intuition. Yes.
hang on. Yeah, exactly. But we also
Yeah.
then assume by association that we couldn't choose it and we had no choice in the matter because it happened to us. But we don't realize that we
Yeah.
did. We just didn't exercise the choice because we weren't aware at the time of what was going on, right? Now, of course, after the fact, if you do become aware that you have the choice, then you can choose not to or to do. Now, of course, when you're coming to something like love, and in a case like this, you have to have a whole bunch of associations that you have to choose not to have. If I represent the things that you feel you should love or want to love, well, then you're going to automatically love it because you've already made those choices ahead of time to say, this is what I love, this is what I want to love, this is what I don't love. And so therefore it's now the consequence of already pre-existing choices. Some of those might not have been deliberate choices. They may have been inadvertently come about as like in our society, we pick up things in this should, you supposed to, and all that, right? So we have to understand though, that even though those things come about us inadvertently, and just because they happen, doesn't mean we're not able to exercise choice. Just because we didn't doesn't mean we're not able to. And it's a very fine discernment distinction that's very important. Yes?
Yes, yes, yes.
Sure.
Sure. Are you still
Yeah.
there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Yes,
I'm just
okay.
listening.
Good. So this is actually it actually very good that okay, whatever happened, like okay, we were actually into a very intense conversation, and it was like
Mhm.
counter arguments and arguments and everything. This is what love is. We still choose to stay.
Yeah.
We still choose
Yes.
to discuss this. Yes, and also on top of that, I really, it's a self-appreciation moment for me, that I feel like really a good love thing for myself, that I was not accepting the ideas coming from the person like Sil, who has so much, like okay, I have so much respect for him. I really care about him. So for
Well,
me,
I care
saying that
about you
no
too,
to
Beena.
him was not easy in the past. But now I can
Yeah.
say it easily. No, Sil, no,
Yeah.
this is not what it is. This is the power
Yeah.
of Way-of-Impeccability and the
Right.
Moreness for me, because I
Right.
can
Mhm.
say without having a fear of losing anything, like my friendship with you,
Yes,
Right.
with
exactly.
Sher, with Sil,
Exactly.
and with Norma. Now
Exactly.
we were there, and it was intense, and we were like, okay, we were pushing each other. No, okay,
I
pushing to the
love it.
limits. Like, okay, no, I'm not going
Yes.
to accept. And
Yes.
he was like
Yeah.
imposing, okay, yes, but look, just